as built-in as well as user-defined types. Let's go over them one by one. First, let's start with the basic types. The first basic type is number. For example, in this case, we are creating a variable age and defining the type number, and we are setting the value to 25. Even if we don't define the type, it's inferred in the TypeScript. So for example, in this case, we are setting the value to 19.99 and the type is inferred as a number. Another type is string. So for example, again, in this case, we are creating a variable first name and the type is string and we are setting the value to orcan. Even if we don't set the value to string, even if we set the type to string, and it's inferred as a string in this case. Another type is boolean, and the next one is any. Any is not recommended to use because we can set any value to the type any. So for example, in this case, we are creating a random value, let's say, right? We are creating a variable random value and setting the type to any and setting the value to 42. We can change it to string and we can change it to true. Another next set of data types in TypeScript is arrays and tuples. So for example, in this case, we are creating an array of numbers and setting the values for array of the numbers. And also we can create array of strings, array of booleans, and so on. The next data type that we have is tuple. What's tuple? It's basically a fixed length array with a specific type. So for example, in this case, we are creating a user with the string and the numbers, and we are defining the string as a orcan and the number as 30. The next one is object. So object, for example, we are creating a variable person and we are a field for that object, right? The first one is name, and we are defining type as a string, and the age we are defining type as a number, and we are setting those values here. Also, we can have inferred objects, so which means that even if we don't set the value to, even if we don't set the type for that variable, it can be inferred. The next one is enum. For the enum, we are creating an enum and we can set the values for enum. For example, in this case, we are creating an enum for the directions up, down, left, and right. And the next one is that either null and undefined. For the null, the type would be null, and we can set that to null. And in the same way, we can set the type to undefined, and the type would be undefined. The last one is the never. So never is a function that never returns. It throws an error. So for example, in this case, we are defining the type as never, and it throws an error, something went wrong.